People's State Bank is a locally owned and managed bank with convenient locations in southwest Wisconsin and northeast Iowa. If you're looking for a place where you're more than just a number, but still have access to convenient technology and low fees, People's State Bank is it. As a community bank, they're proud to support many of the local charities, county fairs, community events, and more. When you become a part of People's State Bank, you can be confident that you're standing with a good cause. People's State Bank, member FDIC.
This is a Queen Bee Radio High School Sports presentation. Queen Bee Radio proudly brings you People's State Bank and Grant Regional Health Center coverage of high school sports. Presented by Cuba City, Kieler, and Darlington Family Dental and Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors. And sponsored by Bouse Electric, Brian's Auto Body and Paint, Vitech Incorporated, Carver's Hardwood Flooring, Claire Bank, Donnie's Tire and Auto, Fuller's Milker Center, Gary's Pest Control, Community First Bank, Guy's Truck and Tractor Service, Hernson's Ace Hardware, Krantz Auto Parts, the Peterson Agency, the Raleigh Cheese House, Mound City Bank, the Russell Law Office, the Shoebox, Sloan Implement, Timmerman's Talents, Tricor Insurance, and Wolf Construction.
The first time we saw these two teams play, it was some high-level basketball on both sides of the floor. Ultimately, it would be Mineral Point picking up a gritty win over the Cuba City Cubans. And while bumps along the road have slowed both of these teams since that first game, tonight we've got round 2 on tap, and it's going to be a great one. Welcome to Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school boys basketball, presented by Cuba City, Kieler, and Darlington Family Dental, and Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors on Dubuque Super Hits 106. The stage is set for another great one between longtime SWAL rivals. It's round 2 between the Mineral Point Pointers and the Cuba City Cubans, broadcasting live tonight from the Wolf Construction broadcast booth. This is Matthew Ginninan. Now, let's take a look at both of these teams you've got in this one. SWAL rivals played a lot over the years, and this is match 2 this year between these two sides. Let's start off with Mineral Point. The Pointers lost their first and only game of the year to the Southwestern Wildcats in the middle of January, and since then, Mineral Point has been absolutely rolling. In their last 5, they picked up an 86-38 win over Boscobel, a 68-39 win over Belleville, a 60-46 win over Dodgeville, but especially these last 2 games for Mineral Point being the big ones, a 66-37 win over Darlington, and a 79-50 win over the Lancaster Flying Arrows, where at one point the Pointers led that one 40-5. So it has been a really, really good stretch these past couple weeks for the Pointers of Mineral Point. They come into this one with a 15-1 record, 9-1 in the league. That's good enough for first place in the SWAL. Now let's look at the other side, the Cuba City Cubans, who dropped round 1 to Mineral Point. Looking good in their last 5, with exception to one game that Coach Sheevy will talk about on the Raleigh Cheese pregame show when you'll get to hear from him, and one that he wishes his team would not have dropped, obviously, and really a bunch of things going wrong there and everything going right for the opposition. That was Fenimore taking down Cuba City 71-59, but besides that, some other big wins in that last 5 for Cuba City, including a 63-57 win over the Flying Arrows of Lancaster and a 54-41 win over the Platteville Hillmen. So that puts Cuba City at 14-5 on the year, and the key is 7-3 in the SWAL with that loss to Fenimore. That puts them in a 3-way tie for second with Darlington, Southwestern, and themselves, obviously. Now, had they not picked up that loss, they would only have 2 conference losses, and with a win, they could have tied Mineral Point for first in the league, but now the path forward looks a little different for Cuba City. Nonetheless, still going to be a great one here tonight. So, lots on the plate for both teams, lots to play for, and means we're going to have a very exciting game. Coming up next, you'll hear from Coach Dan Burrison of the Mineral Point Pointers, and after that, you'll hear from Coach Tanner Sheevy of the Cuba City Cubans, two the great head coaches in our area in high school boys basketball on the Raleigh Cheese pregame show. This is the Raleigh Cheese pregame show presented by Raleigh Cheese at the intersection of Highways 11 and 23 in the heart of Lafayette County. Don't forget the cheese. Dan Burrison of the Mineral Point Pointers after these messages on Dubuque Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Pregame 1.
Are high bank fees draining your wallet? It's time for a change.
At People's State Bank, they believe in low fees that put you first.
Tired of being charged for using your debit card, sneaky paper statement fees, or monthly maintenance fees?
With People's State Bank's People's Checking Account, those fees are a thing of the past.
Worried about ATM fees?
At People's State Bank, they reimburse you for up to 3 ATM fees per month. They work hard to keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket.
Make the switch to People's State Bank today. Visit a branch near you or peoplesfinancial.com. Member FDIC.
These days, making your vehicle look right after an accident can be more challenging. Tim Thane with Abra Auto Body shares how Abra excels in this process.
We have certified technicians, all the best tools you could ever ask for. All of our technicians are ICAR certified, and many of them have decades of experience. We work on all makes and models, pretty much anything from your standard Chevy to BMWs. We pretty much repair anything you have.
Abra Auto Body, a division of Anderson Weber Toyota, when you're ready.
Hello, Dr. Matt here from Cuba City Family Dental. Something we take pride in is having 3 state-of-the-art facilities in Cuba City, Kieler, and Darlington. Our investment in the latest technology and innovative services allows us to provide top-notch dental care to our area families. Take control of your oral health and make an appointment with our team, and let's make your smile the best it can be. Contact Cuba City, Darlington, and Kieler Family Dental now, and let's start this journey together. Keep smiling, Tri-States.
Spring isn't here yet, but it will be soon, and so will many spring projects for home and business owners. Now is the perfect time to get in front of your potential customers at the Queen Bee Radio Home and Outdoor Show, Saturday, March 22nd from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Eckstein Exhibit Building at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Lancaster. Reserve your space now by contacting your Queen Bee Radio sales rep or call Jen Casper for more information at 608-349-2000. The Queen Bee Radio Home and Outdoor Show, Saturday, March 22nd in Lancaster.
Pregame 1.
Welcome back to the Rally Cheese pregame show on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Tonight, we're at Cuba City High School for the second game of the season between the Cuba City Cubans and the Mineral Point Pointers. We are now joined by Dan Burrison, the head coach of the Pointers. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, now let's take a step back and look at where you sit in the SWAL as of now. You currently have a 2-game lead in the standings over the Darlington Redbirds, the Southwestern Wildcats, and the Cuba City Cubans that you're playing tonight, who are all tied for second in the league. With a solid lead in the standings heading into your final stretch of conference games, what do you tell your guys as a coach to keep them focused on taking it one game at a time?
Well, still a lot of games left to play, in the league, and still a lot of tough opponents in our league. So we're just focused on the next one, and that's Cuba City tonight.
Now, when we look at the season as it sits now, your wins over Darlington and Lancaster in your last 2 look to be some of your best wins this season, large victories over quality opponents. One similarity between those 2 games is how good your Pointers looked out of the gate, scoring the ball at a high clip, rebounding well, and creating turnovers on defense from the tip. How important will a quick start be here tonight in Cuba City?
Well, I think ideally you always want to have a quick start, but, it's good start or bad start. It's a 36-minute game, so it's a matter of what you do over the course of the 36 minutes that matters most. But, yeah, ideally you always want a quick start.
Now, one guy that you and I spoke about after your win over Darlington was Keaton Dempsey, who's yet another player for this Pointer team over the last 4 years to get moved up to the varsity squad midseason as a sophomore and begin to see key minutes as a junior. How have you seen him grow this year, and what has he brought to the table for your Pointers?
Yeah, really athletic and really good energy, and I just like the progress that he has made. He stays within himself, but he can do some things athletically that a lot of kids can't do.
Now, for the Russell Law Office's injury report, are your Pointers still healthy coming into this one?
Yeah, we should be good.
And last time you played the Cubans, they were able to limit your offensive opportunities as you took just a 2-point lead into the halftime break. What will it take for your Pointers to go 2-0 in the series with a win tonight?
I think it'll take a really good effort, especially on the defensive end. Cuba City's got a lot of guys that are capable of scoring the ball, and I think it'll take a real solid effort tonight.
Thank you to Coach Dan Burrison for joining us on the Rally Cheese pregame show. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks, Matthew.
Once again, that's Coach Dan Burrison of the Mineral Point Pointers. You'll hear from Coach Tanner Sheevy of the Cuba City Cubans after these messages on the Rally Cheese pregame show. This is high school boys basketball on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Pregame 2.
Better health starts here, and that means getting the care you need close to home when you need it. Grant Regional Health Center offers a wide variety of outpatient services, including wound care, IV infusions, injections, blood transfusions, antibiotic therapy, and much more. We've expanded our offerings to better serve you. Before you travel out of town or hours away, call us at 608-723-1309 to inquire about receiving outpatient services here. Grant Regional Health Center. Better health starts here.
Sandlin Appliance in Scales Mound encourages you to take the Big Box Challenge. Think you're saving money by shopping for your new appliances at the big box stores? Think again. With no hidden delivery or takeaway fees and upfront pricing, they are very competitive with the big box stores and they service what they sell. Stop in and see for yourself. You won't be disappointed. Sandlin Appliance in Scales Mound, your local Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, and Amana dealer. Check them out on the web at sandlinappliance.com and call 815-845-2691 today.
This weekend, catch the big game at the River Rock Kitchen and Tap inside the Holiday Inn downtown Dubuque. They've got everything you need to fuel your game day celebrations, from their savory loaded chili to crispy flatbreads and mouth-watering appetizer platters. Their weekend specials are total game changers. Catch every minute of the action while you kick back with great food and beverages at River Rock Kitchen and Tap, your ultimate game day destination inside the Holiday Inn downtown Dubuque, where good food meets great moments.
Hi, this is Sue Rydell from the Bell Tower Theater inviting you to the new comedy, Above Board. When Nick's food starts disappearing, he installs a camera to catch the culprit and finds that a woman he doesn't know has been secretly living in his cupboard. When the video goes viral, the surprises multiply. This witty, romantic comedy is perfect for Valentine's Day. Don't miss Above Board, February 7th through the 23rd. Tickets are just $26. Call 588-3377 or visit belltowertheater.net.
Pregame 2.
Back in the Rally Cheese pregame show, and tonight, Mineral Point is in Cuba City as the Pointers get set to battle the Cubans on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. We're now joined by Tanner Sheevy, the head coach of the Cuba City Cubans. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first I'd like to talk about the Fenimore game. A tough game in a hostile environment saw the opposing Golden Eagles shoot the ball very well and pick up a key SWAL win over your Cubans. What did you and your squad take away from that one?
Yeah, we pride ourselves on team basketball, and I thought we were really selfish. We tried to do a lot of individual stuff. And then credit to Fenimore, they had a lead early, and then they spread us out, and we had to take our big guys and not play them. And so, they did a really good job making the best of their abilities. And then on the other side, us not really playing as a team, not getting great team shots. That was kind of the reason why, they beat us on the turnover battle, they beat us on the rebounding battle, and they had a better field goal percentage than us. Those are three things that can't happen in any game.
Right now, well, you did drop that one to Fenimore. You have picked up some big wins recently, including a big win over Platteville. What did you see in those recent games that you've liked out of your squad?
Yeah, kind of the same thing I just said. But on the flip side, after the Fenimore game, we had a long talk about, our identity and what got us to where we've been, and talking about playing team basketball and getting after it defensively. Fenimore was the first game in like 9 or 10 games that we gave up more than 60 points. And so, that stuff can't happen. And against Platteville, we got back to doing what we do well. We held them to 38 points, 11 in the second half. And then, when we subbed our guys that don't really get to play in, they scored about 4 or 5 points. And so just being able to stick with what we've been doing and not letting teams get us out of our own philosophies, that's kind of how we've been successful.
Now, looking at you and Mineral Point, the only two ranked teams in the SWAL, the last time you played Mineral Point, it was a great one. You made it to a point where Mineral Point had to slow things down offensively, and you slowed things down offensively as well, which limited the Pointers' opportunities on the offensive side of the ball. Are you going to look to try and slow down Mineral Point again tonight by taking your time on offense?
It's actually funny. Our guys, we never talk about playing fast or slow. We talk about wanting to get great shots. They scored 59 points against us, and we had 20 turnovers. And so they scored about 20-some points, half their points off turnovers for us. And so if we can take care of the basketball and make sure we get a shot every possession, whether it's one pass and it's a great shot, or it takes 10 or 12 passes and it's a great shot, we don't really care as long as we get a great shot. And then making them have to play out of their system. They do a lot of good things defensively. They do they run a lot of different defenses. And so trying to make them have to guard us, being able to take advantage of their weaknesses is kind of what we're going to try and do tonight.
All All right, now for our Russell Law Office's injury report. Are there any injuries to report before this one tonight?
Nope, everybody's ready to go.
All right, and last question for you. As it stands, you're in a three-way tie for second in the SWAL, and as I mentioned, as the only ranked team of those three tied, a win here would go a long way tonight in pushing your Cubans up the rankings and up the standings late in this conference season. What will it take for your Cubans to defend home court and take down the number 2 pointers of Mineral Point here tonight?
Yeah, we're a little disappointed with the loss to Fenimore. We thought tonight would be a great opportunity to have a tie with first, and so that kind of was a staple to us. We were a little disappointed after that game, but now we're at the point of we're just trying to play our best basketball. We're getting to the point now where the tournament's right around the corner, and we win tonight, and I doubt, looking at Mineral Point's schedule, they will lose another conference game, and so we're kind of playing now we want to get the 2 seed. We want to be able to battle and get a chance to play Mineral Point again in the sectional semis. That's kind of our goal. So tonight we're just looking to play our best basketball, do the things that we've worked on, and take what they did well against us the first time and take that away, and so they can't do it again this time.
In Thursday night SWAL action, it's Mineral Point and Cuba City. We'd like to thank Coach Tanner Sheevy for joining us on the Raleigh Chiefs pregame show. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Once again, that's Coach Tanner Sheevy of the Cuba City Cubans. We'll wrap up the Raleigh Chiefs pregame show after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Pregame 3. Carey's Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors of Belmont and Prairie du Chien is who to call for top quality CHI overhead doors. Enhance the curb appeal and security of your home by choosing the fine line of CHI overhead doors from Carey's. And when it comes to seamless gutters that keep your home protected from water damage, Carey's has you covered too. Visit Carey'sGuttersandDoors.com today to learn more. They'll service all the rest, and they deal in the best. Get your new CHI overhead doors at Carey's Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors, Belmont and Prairie du Chien.
At Riddles Jewelry, we know there are moments in life when you realize this is what it's all about. And you wish you could hold on to that feeling forever. This is why we've made jewelry our passion for 65 years. This Valentine's Day, find the perfect gift with savings up to 50%. Riddles Jewelry. Family owned since 1959.
Riddles Jewelry, located in the Kennedy Mall.
Pregame 3.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. About 10 minutes to go until we tip this one off here between Mineral Point and Cuba City in Thursday night SWAL basketball action. I'd like to thank Coach Tanner Sheevy and Coach Dan Burrison for their time on the Raleigh Chiefs pregame show. In those pregame interviews, you heard the Russell Law Office's injury report. If you've been injured, contact Russell Law Offices. Their experienced team of personal injury lawyers will fight for your rights and help you get the compensation you deserve. Visit RussellLawWI.com. First things first, let's take a look at the Shoebox scoreboard to see what's going on in the area tonight. That's presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, a large independent shoe store in the Midwest. Only conference in action at boys hoops tonight is the SWAL. We've got this one here between Mineral Point and Cuba City. 3 other games on your slate tonight. Riverdale is at Fenimore. Iowa Grant is at Darlington, and Southwestern is at Boscobel. 3 other games going on tonight on our Queen Bee Radio Sports family of stations. Down in Illinois in the other boys hoops game on our slate, Galena is at Scales Mound. That one's on the X Extreme 107.1. In girls action, 2 games tonight, both on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Highland is at River Ridge to take on the Timberwolves, and Belmont is in Shullsburg. That's your slate tonight in the SWAL and on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations. Next, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. Those are presented by Fuller's Milker Center. See Fuller's complete hygiene line and options for your brand new dairy setup or existing parlor remodel. Fuller's in Lancaster, Richland Center, and at Fuller'sMilkerCenter.com. First, the Cubans of Cuba City, as we mentioned, 14-5 on the year, 7-3 in the league. Second place as it sits now, number 8 in Division 4 in the WisSports.net coaches poll. The Cubans of Cuba City are starting a 6'2 senior guard, number 1 Tyson Richard, a 6'1 senior guard, number 2 Gavin Vossen, also starting a 6'1 senior guard, number 4 Miles Hinderman, a 5'11 junior guard, number 10 Trevor Van Natta, and a 6'4" senior forward, number 22, Braden Joel. Cuba City is led by head coach Tanner Sheevy in his second year with the Cubans. Now the starting lineup on the other side for the Pointers of Mineral Point. The visiting Pointers are, as we mentioned, 15-1 on the year, 9-1 first place in the SWAL, number 2 in the latest WisSports.net D4 coaches poll. The Pointers are starting a 6'4" senior guard, number 5, Jackson Wenhausen. A 6'5" senior guard, number 10, Eli Lindsay. The Pointers also starting a 6'3" junior guard, number 11, Drew Ashelman. A 6'2" senior guard, number 12, Tucker Dannenberg. And rounding out the 5 for Mineral Point, a 6'4" senior center, number 32, Jacob Phillips. The Pointers are led by head coach Dan Burrison in his 30th season with the Pointers. We'll take another break. Raleigh Cheese pregame show back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 1. From small-town businesses to large multi-state operations, Tricor Insurance and Auto Owners Insurance have industry expertise that can cover all types of businesses.
Having an insurance agency that understands our business is a real benefit. They know our people. It's something Tricor does really well.
Tricor's in-depth knowledge of insurance, regulation, compliance, and safety consulting is here to help your business succeed. Working with leading insurance companies like Auto Owners Insurance. They'll be there when you need them most. Visit TricorInsurance.com to learn more about Tricor Insurance Cycle of Care.
This is Doug Dolter with Dubuque Mattress. Dubuque Mattress was voted best place to buy a mattress for many reasons, but one of them was best price. Because Dubuque Mattress is a mattress factory, we are truly factory direct. We cut out the cost of the middleman. And because of our volume, we have the most buying power. I personally guarantee that Dubuque Mattress is 10 to 40% less than any other mattress store in town. Find us on Highway 20 directly across from Tyson's. Dubuque Mattress for the rest of your life.
Dubuque Mattress Factory, you get a little snooze time.
In Game 1.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Under 5 minutes to go until we introduce our starting lineups and tip this one off here at the Jerry Pettigrew Gymnasium in Cuba City between the Mineral Point Pointers and the Cuba City Cubans. Going to be a really exciting one on tap here tonight. And let's look at some keys to the game. And the last time these two teams played, Cuba City was looking to take some high-efficiency shots in the first half. That, in turn, as I talked about with Coach Sheevy in our Raleigh Cheese pregame show interview, kind of slowed things down for the Cubans and slowed things down for Mineral Point. The Pointers weren't able to get a lot of points in transition, and they weren't really able to get into a rhythm. In the second half, the big difference maker was the Mineral Point defense. They were able to cause a lot of turnovers, which led to more transition opportunities and transition points for Mineral Point. So we'll see if Cuba City's able to take better care of the ball here tonight. And if Mineral Point's able to shoot the ball well, which they have been shooting the ball at an exceptional rate in their last 2 games against Darlington and Lancaster. Cuba City's going to need to key on some of those leaders. Evan Vossen, Tyson Richard, among others. Let's take a look now at our colors of the game, presented by Cuba City Family Dental, Kieler Family Dental, and Darlington Family Dental. 3 convenient locations to serve your dental needs. First for the Pointers of Mineral Point. The Pointers are in their away baby blue uniforms. One of the few teams in the state to wear baby blue. Pointers across the chest in white with a royal blue outline, numbers on the front and back. Same color on those. Nike uniforms for the Pointers with the Motion MP on the shorts. And for the Cubans of Cuba City, wearing their home white Under Armour uniforms with some yellow stripes on those. Both teams wearing the pinstripe pants for the warm-ups tonight. Mineral Point, baby blue and white. Cuba City, yellow and black. Obviously, any Pointer fans listening know the history for Mineral Point and those pants dates back to when they went to state in the 70s and even prior to that. And for Cuba City, a new look for them. Something they're just introducing this year, those pinstripe warm-up pants. The first supply, first half, comes your way after this. This is high school boys basketball on Dubuque Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 2.
Are you interested in a free checking account? Do you need a debit card today with no delay? We now offer instant issue on our debit cards. Hi, my name is Sarah Rogers, your branch manager, retail lending officer from Mound City Bank in Cuba City. When you open your checking account, we can now issue your debit card so you have purchasing access to your account the day it's open. Stop by or call us at 608-744-2141 for more details or questions. Mound City Bank is proud to be here for you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We all know how unpredictable the weather in our area can be. Tune in to Super Hits 106 as we'll keep you up to date on all the cancellations and delays affecting the tri-states. Cancellations and delays are presented by Anderson Auto of Platteville. Make sure you don't get stuck out in the cold with a visit to Anderson Auto Repair in Platteville. They'll check your fluids, including oil and antifreeze, plus tires, suspension, and more. And they'll get you in right away and back on the road. Learn more about Anderson Auto Repair on Facebook.
In Game 2.
Back on Super Hits 106 in the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel as both of these teams here tonight head into the huddle. About to get underway in this one, and what an exciting matchup we've got. In case you're not watching online, still got the chance to tune in this one live on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel, as well as, of course, Super Hits 106.1 FM, superhits106.com, and the Dubuque Super Hits 106 mobile app. Tonight's game brought to you by Mound City Bank. Their total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop at a Mound City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender. Learn more at moundcitybank.com. Community First Bank for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank. CFbank.com. Member FDIC. Eggers Enterprises in Linden, specializing in residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping. They're not done until your expectations are exceeded. Check them out on the web or Facebook and call 608-513-2190. Today, also brought to you by Ivy's Construction Mineral Point. Ivy Construction Incorporated is a family-owned and operated ready-mix aggregate and excavation company serving Southwest Wisconsin. Ivy's Construction Mineral Point about to get underway. Here is tonight's national anthem live from the Cuba City High School Pep Band.
Support each team and the officials in a positive manner. Preventing racial, sexist, ethnic comments or other intimidating or taunting chants or behaviors grounds for removal from the site of competition. Sportsmanship is a priority of the WIAA, its member schools, and each of our communities. We ask your cooperation in making this a positive and enjoyable experience for all. And please be considerate of those around you and support the camaraderie of sport. To honor America and those defending our freedom, we ask those who are able to stand, remove your hat and place your hand over the heart as the Cuba City Pep Band, under the direction of Miss Julie Clayton, play our national anthem.
There's tonight's national anthem, brought to you live by the Cuba City High School Pep Band. We'll take another break as we introduce our starting lineups here. Tip off after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 3.
Looking to upgrade your windows? Look no further than Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center in Bloomington. Whether it's the elegance of Hunter Douglas window treatments or the beauty of Carroll Fabrics custom draperies, Hermson's has the perfect solution for your home with top quality products and expert service. Hermson's will measure and install, taking the stress out of your project. Don't wait. Call Hermson's today to schedule your appointment and transform your windows with style and sophistication. Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center in Bloomington.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Hi, this is Denise Deaton-Tolzman with Queen Bee Radio, inviting you to showcase your business at our annual Home and Outdoor Show, Saturday, March 22nd from 9 to 2 at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Lancaster. We'll put you in front of potential customers that are preparing for spring and summer projects around their homes, farms, and businesses. Call me at 608-642-0523, and I'll give you more information and help you reserve your booth Saturday, March 22nd at the Queen Bee Radio Home and Outdoor Show in Lancaster.
In Game 3.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel as we introduce our starting lineups here in the Jerry Pettigrew Gymnasium. Getting ready to go here in this Thursday night Swall Boys Hoops game. Tonight's game brought to you by Sheetles Heating and Cooling, your local Daikin dealer. Call Bradley Schneider for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning service from Sheetles Heating and Cooling in Bloomington. Also brought to you by Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque. When you are ready. Eli Lindsay, that's center court for Mineral Point to take care of tip-off duties, and that's where he will be met by number 20, Ben Richards. "18 minutes on the clock here in the first half. Official pounds the ball to the court, throws it up, and the tip won by Eli Lindsay, and the Mineral Point Pointers were underway from Cuba City High School. Pointers working left to right as you see it on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Here's Eli Lindsay working on Venata. Backs him down, step inside. Bunny off the mark. Rebound hauled in by Ben Richards. Trevor Venata will take it up for Cuba City. Venata over to Richards. Now Richard swings over to Hinderman. One almost stolen away. It's Venata kind of trapped in the corner, works it inside. Vossen tries to go up on Lindsay and will get a foul call. That'll be free throws on the way as we're going to have a foul on Jacob Phillips of Mineral Point. I'll send Vossen to the free throw line to shoot two. Vossen's first free throw up and down. Vossen good on his first. Tonight's game brought to you by Grant Regional Health Center's Ortho Team. Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stocco, PAC, provides exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, better health starts here. Also brought to you by Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center in Bloomington and Hermson's Ace Hardware at the bottom of Main in Platteville. See Hermson's for the perfect paint for your next project. Hermson's Ace Hardware in Bloomington and Platteville. 2 for 2 on that trip to the line is Vossen. Now Wenhausen on the other side tries a three, leaves it short, gets his own rebound, attacks, spins inside, and it's good. Jackson Wenhausen connects there, his first score of the night, and we're all tied up 2-2, exactly 1 minute into this one. Mineral Point brings some pressure in the full court. Cubans got to get it over here. They do get it over to Vossen. Vossen up to Richard now. Swing to Venata. Venata up top. Over to Tyson Richard. Inside, Ben Richards. Shot good off the glass. Ben Richards. Good on his first one of the night. The 6'6" senior forward. The tallest player on either roster. Here's Dannenberg. Works his right. Over to Ashelman. Ashelman kicks to Lindsay. Lindsay gathers. Turns around. Inside, shots good. Eli Lindsay with his first made. 2 of the night on that one, just outside of the painted area. Claire Bank, with their 8 convenient locations southwest Wisconsin, is proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Cubans cannot get it across the half court. A 10-second violation. Not something you see very often in that. Going to be a turnover for the Cubans and a free possession for Mineral Point. 16:03 on the clock first half here. Tied up 4-4 between the Pointers and the Cubans. Here's Drew Ashelman taking it up for the Pointers. Leaves for Lindsay. Lindsay works right over to Wenhausen. Wenhausen leaves it for Phillips. Inside, Phillips up off the glass. Can't get it to go. Rebound hauled in by Richards. Vossen takes it up for the Cubans. Over to Tyson Richard. Now Vossen. Hinderman. Over to Richard. Now Vossen on the wing. Leaves for Richards, and we'll get a foul on Tucker Dannenberg. So 2 quick fouls there on Mineral Point. One on Phillips. One on Dannenberg there. Tonight's game brought to you by Russell Law Offices, here to assist you as your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin, Russell Law Offices. Here's Hinderman on the outside to Van Natta. Van Natta inside to Richards. Back to Van Natta, and he throws it away. Another Cuba City turnover. Bryan's Auto Body and Paint Specialist. The pros at Bryan's get the job done right. For unexpected dings or major repair project, head to Bryan's Auto Body and Paint, Lancaster. Lindsay calling out the play here for Mineral Point. Just shy of 3 minutes into this one. Lindsay with some space. Pulls up the step back three. No good. Phillips skies for the rebound. Kicks to Lindsay. Lindsay up. No good. Fouled. He'll get a pair of free throws. Cuba City foul's going to go on Gavin Vossen, his first and the first on the Cubans. It'll send Eli Lindsay, 83% free throw shooter, to the line once Wenhausen gets his shoot side here. Get that double knot in. There we go. Now Lindsay for a pair of free throws. First one up for Lindsay, and it's good. Up to 3 on the night. He'll get one more. TC Networks at Platteville, from IT consultation to security cameras, door access control, and more. Learn more about how they can help you at tcnetworks.com. Lindsay's second free throw up and good as well. Lindsay, 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. Got 4 on the night, and the Pointers lead 6-4. Van Natta over to Richard. Back to Van Natta. Van Natta slips that ball through to Vossen. Now inside, and the shot's good in the post there for Hinderman. 6-6. Mineral Point and Cuba City going back and forth here. Dannenberg in the corner. Works right, leaves for Ashelman. Back to Dannenberg. Dannenberg turns that one over into the hands of Tyson Richard. Now Richard, Cuba City momentarily with a 5-on-4. Dannenberg gets back here. Van Natta on the outside with 14:20 on the clock. Kicks to Richards. Now Vossen on the wing. Drives, now back out. Over to Richard. Hinderman goes between the legs, works left, spins inside, shot up, and it's no good. Rebound to Wenhausen. 6-6, still your score, under 14 to play. Ashelman accelerates inside, and a foul. Free throws on the way for Wenhausen. That foul's going to go on Tyson Richard, his first. That's number 2 on Cuba City. That'll send Drew Ashelman to the line for the Pointers. Good on about 60%. First Supply at Platteville, your total commercial plumbing and heating wholesale outlet. When quality parts are needed, the experts rely on First Supply in Platteville. Ashelman, good on 1. Also brought to you by Guys Truck and Tractor for heavy-duty towing and recovery. Reliable 24-hour roadside service on long-distance transports. Call on Guys Truck and Tractor in Kieler at guystruck.com. Ashelman's second one up and good as well. 2 for 2 on that trip to the line, as we got a substitution here for Mineral Point. Pointers bring in Keaton Dempsey. That'll send Dannenberg off. Pointers lead this one 8-6. Hinderman on top, over to Vossen. Vossen to Hinderman, back to Vossen. Vossen going to work the baseline, and we're going to get a foul here on Dempsey. That's Dempsey's first foul. Very physical game between these two sides here. That'll send Gavin Vossen to the free throw line for a pair of free throws. He's got 2 points so far tonight for the Cubans. Vossen's first free throw on the way, and good. Tonight's game brought to you by TriStar Pallets of Highland and TriStar Mulch of Cobb and Platteville. Beautify your home with decorative colored mulch. Give Jim Drury and the gang a call at TriStar Pallets of Highland and TriStar Mulch of Cobb and Platteville. And Carver's Hardwood Flooring. For hardwood flooring, stair installation, or refinishing needs, call Ryan Carver, the only Natural Wood Flooring Association certified installer, sander, and finisher in the tri-state area. Carver's Hardwood Flooring, Benton. Vossen 2 for 2 on that trip to the line, 8-8 here in this one. Still a very tight game early. Dempsey works left, rises up, no good, high off the glass. Rebound tipped out to Wenhausen. Wenhausen tries to drive, goes out. Ashelman, 3-ball on the way, no good. Rebound won by Ben Richards. Mineral Point yet to connect on a 3-ball. 8-8, and we'll get a kickball on Lindsay. Potterton going to check in here for Mineral Point. As for Cuba City, we'll get a sub as well. That's Hudson Kieler. Krantz Auto Parts, your local hardware, Hank and Napa dealer. See Rob Krantz and the crew at Krantz Auto Parts for full-service repair on cars and light trucks too. Krantz Auto Parts of Fenimore. And Bytech Resource Management, a greener way. Bytech Resource Management of Monroe. Inbound here to Hinderman. Pointers falling into a 1-3-1 zone look defensively. Joel, now over to Hinderman. Cross-court pass to Kieler. Kieler back to Hinderman. Now back to Kieler. Kieler falling into a tough spot there, over to Hinderman. Hinderman back to Kieler, now to Joel in the corner. Joel fires that one to Vossen. Vossen can't get it to go over Potterton. Rebound controlled by the Pointers. Ashelman jogging this one up for the Pointers. 8-8, 12-20 on the clock. Ashelman. Lindsay, 3-ball. On the way, no good. Rebound won by Richard. Not a great shooting night so far for either team. Kieler stuck in a tough spot and out of bounds. Last touch by Mineral Point's Keaton Dempsey. Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors at Belmont, Prairie du Chien, and at CareyGuttersAndDoors.com and Sloan Implement, your official John Deere dealer in Bloomington, Cuba City, Montfort, and at Sloans.com. Inbound goes to Cuba City, and Hinderman almost lost that one. He'll take it up here for the Cubans. Mineral Point still in this 1-3-1 look. Joel almost had that one stolen away. Now a 3-ball on the way and good. Miles Hinderman knocks down the triple and breaks it. Open from 3. He's got 5 on the night, and the Cubans have a 3-point lead. Mineral Point trying to run their play. Lindsay tries to go to work on Joel. Out. Ashelman gets his man to jump, drives, elevates, and scoops it in off the glass for 2. Nice finish there for Drew Ashelman. Now Vossen down the other way, and maybe after that 3-ball, we'll see these teams play with a little more pace. Joel looks inside. Vossen swatted by Potterton. That one out of bounds. Last touch by Dempsey. And that one where the height of Mineral Point really going to come into play. Boz Electric called Brad Adrian and Josh Busher at Boz Electric, Lancaster, and Fenimore. Hinderman inbounds it, and it's stolen away, poked away by Mineral Point. Ashelman runs down the other way. Lindsay elevates, no good off the glass, and Ashelman able to get that one to go on the putback. He's got 6 of the Pointers' 12, and it's a 1-point lead here for Mineral Point. Vossen over to Hinderman. Now Kieler. Richard calls for time, and we'll get a timeout from Richard, and Cuba City will stay here for this one. 10:37 on the clock, 12-11 the lead for Mineral Point. Really, really good one so far. Let's take a look at the Shoebox scoreboard presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. For some area scores, Galena leads Scales Mountains 27-23 at halftime in Illinois. Boys hoops and girls hoops back here in Wisconsin. Belmont on top of Shullsburg 29-12 at the half. And at the half, River Ridge leading Highland 25-7. Here in Cuba City, it's a 12-11 lead for Mineral Point, 10:37 on the clock. Cuba City will inbound it from under their own basket. WCC Brands Custom Apparel in Kieler and at WCC-brands.com. Hinderman to inbound it. Inbound to Joel. He retreats into the backcourt to grab that one. Now he'll go over to Hinderman. Hinderman back to Joel. Vossen. Entry pass to Kieler and back out to Joel. On the outside, Hinderman works to his left. Now switches hands, works it inside, spins, shot up, and good. Tough basket for Hinderman over Wenhausen. 13-12, Cubans over Pointers. Ashelman over to Wenhausen. Wenhausen Works the baseline, now back out to Lindsay. Dempsey in the corner. To Lindsay, back to Dempsey. Makes one-man jump, elevates, and we'll get a blocking foul, so 2 free throws on the way for the 50% free throw shooter. That foul for Cuba City, the second on Richard, so something we'll keep an eye on here. Dempsey to get a pair of free throws. First one good for Dempsey. He knocks it home for his first points of the night. Couple subs, Bossert in for Mineral Point. Talon Van Natta and Trevor Van Natta in for Cuba City. Dempsey 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. Averaging now north of 7 points per game for the Pointers, a key piece off the bench. Here's Van Natta. Gets that one around to Kieler. 9:30 to go in this one. Pointers lead in the first half. Pointers lead 14-13 on the outside. Trevor Van Natta swatted, but a foul gonna go on Mineral Point. And it's on Brett Bossert. So free throws on the way for Trevor Van Natta. People's State Bank for personal home business and ag loans. Visit one of their convenient area locations. Visit peoplesfinancial.com. Member FDIC. Here's Van Natta. First free throw up and good. His first score of the night there. Gary's Pest Control in Dickeyville. Gary's Pest Control salutes our local athletes. Gary's Pest Control, over 40 years of professional, friendly service. Second one on the way, no good. Back iron by Van Natta. Here's Ashelman up for the Pointers, over to Wenhausen. Tie ball game, 14s on the scoreboard, and out of bounds. Off of the Pointers, off of Dempsey. It'll be Cuba City ball. Lindsay back into the game for Mineral Point. Phillips going to come in too. Inbound here from Joel over to Van Natta. Here's Trevor Van Natta. Over to Joel. Joel inside, turnover. Wenhausen steals that one away. Now Lindsay up to Wenhausen. He'll fire the 3 off the screen. That one no good. Rebound up for grabs and won by Van Natta. On the other end, Kieler to Van Natta. Back to Kieler and back to Van Natta, playing catch on that far side. Now here's Joel. Kicks to Talon Van Natta. Kieler back up top to Trevor Van Natta. Now Joel. He'll fire the 3 ball. No good, too strong. Rebound won by Cuba City. Talon Van Natta with the board. And we'll get a walk on Cuba City. A turnover, going to be Mineral Point ball as Ashelman and Hinderman back into the game for the Pointers and Cubans, respectively. Donnie's Tire and Auto, called the only hooker in town for 24-hour towing service at 568-3014, 568-3014. Your home for excellent car care is Donnie's Tire and Auto, Dickeyville. Here's Ashelman up for the Pointers. Over to Lindsay. Now Dempsey to Bossert. Bossert leads for Dempsey. Dempsey inside, high off the glass, no good. Phillips with the board, tries to work it back inside, now out, but it's stolen away. Kind of an errant pass there from Phillips. Cuba City takes it back down the other way. 3 ball on the way, no good from Kieler. Dempsey with the board. Lindsay with 7:35 on the clock and 14s on the scoreboard goes to Dempsey. Now Ashelman works inside. Lindsay, head on a swivel, inside Phillips. Easy 2 in the post for Jake Phillips. Nice eyes there by Lindsay to get the assist, and the Pointers now lead by a pair. Here's Joel, and this one out of bounds off of Dempsey. It'll be Cuba City ball. Subs come in here. Ben Richards and Jackson Wenhausen back into the game. They'll take out Joel and Bossert. 7:11 on the clock. Inbound here for Cuba City. Goes to Trevor Van Natta. Van Natta has it stolen away by the Pointers. Lindsay and Mineral Point. Do they get their timeout call? They do not. One official says held ball, and it is a held ball. Pointers thought they had their timeout called. They do not. So it's a jump ball, possession arrow. We'll send that one to Cuba City. Hinderman inbounds this one here. 7 minutes on the clock. 16-14 the lead for blue and white. Here's the three ball on the way from Hinderman, and it's good. Hinderman knocks down another triple, his second of the night, and he's up to 10. 10 of the Cuba City 17, and the Cuban lead now 17-16. Ashelman works it inside, spins, tough shot up, no good. Rebound out to Dannenberg. Now Lindsay baseline, and this one last touch by the Cubans. Talon Van Natta into the game for Trevor Van Natta here. 6.5 to play, first half. Ashelman off the inbound, over to Wenhausen. He goes over to Phillips on the wing. Now Lindsay near the free throw line. Wenhausen, three ball on the way. No good. The rough shooting night for Mineral Point continues. Back the other way goes Hinderman. Hinderman over to Van Natta. Now Hinderman, Kieler. Looks to Richards, baseline, back up top. Hinderman too strong. This will be an over and back. Another Cuba City turnover. Something that Coach Sheevy mentioned his team going to look to really try and minimize here tonight in our pregame. Lindsay will inbound it. Well, it'll be Ashelman to inbound it, rather. Sideline out for Mineral Point here. Here's Lindsay. Now Ashelman to Dannenberg. Head fake back to Ashelman. Under 6 to play. Ashelman to Lindsay. Phillips. And we'll get a foul inside on Cuba City off the ball. That's going to go on Miles Hinderman, his first, and that'll be the 15th foul on Cuba, or the 4th team foul rather, on Cuba City tonight. Community First Bank, for you in the community where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank, cfbank.com, member FDIC. Lindsay to Wenhausen. Wenhausen drives and loses that one. It'll be Cuba City ball. Right through his hands. Can't control that one. Hinderman to inbound here for Cuba City. His Cubans playing with a 1-point lead, 17-16. 5.5 to go here, first half. Here's Talon Van Natta. Pointers still in this 1-3-1 zone. Kieler inside, spins around, foul, count it, and one. That'll send Kieler to the line to shoot. Potterton in for Mineral Point, as that's foul number 2 on Jake Phillips. (19-16) the Cuba City lead. Free throw for Kieler. Good. Rolls in. Mount City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop at a Mount City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Learn more at mountcitybank.com. Dannenberg to Lindsay. Lindsay gonna try and post up his man here. Swings outside. Ashelman, three ball on the way, and good. Drew Ashelman laces it up from deep, and there's the three ball for Mineral Point. Back down to a 1-point game. Ashelman's got 9 of the Pointers' 19. Him and Miles Hinderman lead the way for their teams. Here's Talon Van Natta on the outside, over to Hinderman. Now Vossen. Can't find a place to go, goes back out to Hinderman. Now Van Natta with 4.5 to play. Kicks to Hinderman. Back to Van Natta. Now Hinderman, 4:20 on the clock. to Van Natta. Van Natta almost had it stolen away. Now Vossen, baseline, and we'll get a foul on Mineral Point. That's going to be foul number 2 on Tucker Dannenberg. And a timeout from Coach Burrison, and the Pointers will take 1-2. Back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 4.
Hi, this is Christine Raleigh of Raleigh Cheese, wishing all area athletes successful seasons. Cheese is a great source of protein for school lunches or a snack before the big game. Stop in and try some of our award-winning artisan cheeses like Dunbarton Blue, Red Rock, and Little Mountain. We have fresh cheese curds weekly and a wide variety of snacks and beverages, plus made-to-order cheese trays. Shop locally and taste the difference of handmade Wisconsin cheese at Raleigh Cheese House on the corner of Highways 11 and 23, Shellsburg.
Hello, Amy here from Cuba City Family Dental. Part of our dedication to excellence in the dental services we offer are same-day crowns. Instead of return visits to our office, we can diagnose and fix your tooth in one day at any of our 3 convenient locations. Call us when you are in need and experience patient-centered care for you and your family at Cuba City, Darlington, and Kieler Family Dental. Ask about our new patient specials. Keep smiling, Tri-States.
In Game 4.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. It's a 20-19 Cuba City lead with 4:10 to go in the first half. Cuba City playing some pretty good defense here tonight, limiting those pointer shot opportunities. And when the Pointers have got shot opportunities, they have not gone their way. Very defensive battle here tonight. Pointers looks like they're going to go back into a man-to-man look defensively here. They played the last chunk of this half in the 1-3-1, and we'll get an off-ball foul on Mineral Point. That's going to go on Ashelman, his first. And that's foul number 7 of the half on Mineral Point. So it'll be free throws on the way for Cuba City's Ben Richards. 1-1. Got to make the first to get the second. Free throw 1 on the way. No good. Rebound by Wenhausen. Under 4 to play in the half. Here's Ashelman over to Lindsay. Now Wenhausen to Lindsay. Lindsay backing down the defender. Spinning inside. And a travel. Lindsay talking that one over with the official. Another Mineral Point turnover. Eggers Enterprise in Linden, specializing in residential, commercial, landscaping, and hardscaping. They're not done till your expectations are exceeded. Check them out on the web or Facebook and call 608-513-2190 today. Here's Hinderman over to Van Natta. Now this one, Joel's got it, and it's stolen away there by Dempsey into the hands of Potterton. Joel got trapped on that double there and lost it, and now Ashelman fouled hard by Van Natta. That's the first on Van Natta. Foul number 5 of the half on Cuba City. Wenhausen into Lindsay. Now to Potterton. Wenhausen. Pull-up jumper on the way, and good. Jackson Wenhausen with just his second bucket of the night. Gives the lead back to the Pointers of Mineral Point, 21-20. With just over 3 to play in this first half. That one almost stolen away. Van Natta now off the foot of Dempsey. It'll stay with Cuba City. Get a substitution here. Trevor Van Natta back in for Talon Van Natta. Vossen into Van Natta here. Now over to Hinderman. Pointers back into his own defense. Over to Van Natta. Now Joel in the corner. Tries to work baseline. Double comes. Now Kieler inside. Had space. Goes out to Hinderman. Back to Kieler. Now Hinderman. Cubans reset offensively. It's Van Natta on the far side wing to Joel. Back to Van Natta, now Hinderman. Over to Van Natta. 2:25 on the clock, first half. That one almost stolen away by Lindsay. Instead, Hinderman trying to cut through the defense. Hinderman, 3-ball on the way. No good, too strong. Rebound, won by Wenhausen, and we'll get a foul going on Cuba City here. That'll be their 6th of the half. We'll see who that one's on. And that's going to be number 2 on Miles Hinderman. Next foul will push Mineral Point into the bonus. Inbound here to Lindsay. Lindsay swings it to Dempsey. Now Dempsey drives, elevates, and finishes off the glass. There's Keaton Dempsey with his first field goal of the night and a 3-point lead for Mineral Point, under 2 to play. Here's Miles Hinderman, picked up his 2nd foul on the last play. Over to Trevor Van Natta. Now Joel, inside is Kieler. Back out, Hinderman fires the 3. That one no good. Lindsay rips the board down, up ahead, out of bounds, last touched by Hinderman. Quick hands by Hinderman. Wenhausen will inbound here. Inbound here goes to Lindsay, and Lindsay slips and falls, a travel. Another turnover there by Mineral Point. They're starting to really add up in this half. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Ivy Construction is a family-owned and operated ready-mix aggregate and excavation company serving southwest Wisconsin. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Minute and a half to go till our halftime break. 23-20, the lead for Mineral Point. Hinderman over to Kieler. Kieler back to Hinderman. Now Van Natta. Joel back to Van Natta and back to Hinderman. Over to Kieler in the near corner. Now Hinderman as we approach 1 minute on the clock. Mineral Point side starting to make some noise. And officially under 1 to go in the half. Hinderman to Joel in the corner. Back up top. Joel trying to break through. Loses it. Stolen away by Lindsay. 45 seconds to play. Ashelman kicks back to Lindsay. 3-ball on the way. No good. Skips over the rim and an over-the-back foul going to go on Potterton. And that'll be free throws on the other side. We'll walk it down. 8th team foul on Mineral Point. So 1-1 coming up for Cuba City, and it'll be Braden Joel at the line. Joel scoreless so far tonight. Get a sub before that. Talon Van Natta in for Hinderman. Coach Sheevy doesn't want Hinderman to pick up his 3rd foul before the break. Joel got to make 1 to get 2. First one up, and it's good. Schneidl's Heating and Cooling, your local Daikin dealer. Call Bradley Schneider for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning service from Schneidl's Heating and Cooling in Bloomington. And Anderson Webber Toyota in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Webber Toyota in Dubuque when you are ready. Joel, 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. Cuts it to a 1-point game. Ben Richards will come into the game here. Lindsay to inbound it. 38 seconds clock runs in half number 1. Ashelman up to Wenhausen, back to Ashelman. And Mineral Point looks like they're going to play for 1 shot. Dempsey in the corner, over to Wenhausen. Tight defense there by Cuba City's Van Natta. Now Wenhausen with 15 to play. Over to Ashelman. Down under 9. Ashelman. 5, down to 4. Elevates, and it drops. Ashelman hangs in the balance and beats the buzzer. Mineral Point heads to the break with a 25-22 lead over Cuba City. We'll take a break 2, and we're back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 5.
Are high bank fees draining your wallet? It's time for a change.
At People's State Bank, they believe in low fees that put you first.
Tired of being charged for using your debit card, sneaky paper statement fees, or monthly maintenance fees?
With People's State Bank's People's Checking Account, those fees are a thing of the past.
Worried about ATM fees?
At People's State Bank, they reimburse you for up to 3 ATM fees per month. They work hard to keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket.
Make the switch to People's State Bank today. Visit a branch near you or peoplesfinancial.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Steve Schmidt, owner of the Shoebox in downtown Black Earth. We have thousands of pairs of shoes in stock, no waiting. So stop in anytime, specializing in size, selection, and fit. We will save you money. P.S. We measure both feet. Stop into the Shoebox, the largest shoe store at the north end of Black Earth.
Turpin Dodge salutes Chris Osterhaus, registered nurse with Hospice of Dubuque. Turpin will honor Chris with a donation to Hospice of Dubuque. Visit TurpinDodge.com to nominate an area nurse. Thank you, Chris. From Turpin Dodge in Dubuque.
In Game 5.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel under our halftime break now, 25-22. The lead for Mineral Point. Pointers led by 2 at the break the first time around. This time it's a 3-point lead. And a very tight half it was. Cuba City led for a good chunk of that half. You are now listening to the Peterson Agency Halftime Report, presented by the Peterson Agency in Argyle. Brian Peterson specializes in home, farm, auto, and umbrella policies. Taking a look at this one here tonight, let's start off by what we're noticing. It's been a game mostly dominated by Cuba City defensively and by the defense on both ends. It's been a slow offensive game for these sides, especially for Mineral Point. They've struggled shooting the ball, and that's been a big place where they've struggled. Now, a lot of that because of the tight Cuba City defense. They haven't given Mineral Point as many opportunities, especially from deep. You can sure tell that they've watched a lot of film. Coach Sheevy on the sideline calling out what play Mineral Point's running a lot of the time, and Mineral Point also creating turnovers on the other side. What we have not seen is a lot of transition baskets for either team. Both of these teams have played pretty good defense in the half court, and then if they do turn the ball over offensively, able to get back and prevent some easy transition points for the other side. Such a low score at the break. Just 25-22. We'll take a look at some statistics here for both sides. We'll start off with Mineral Point. They're led by Drew Ashelman here tonight. He's got 11 for Mineral Point. He got that buzzer-beating shot to fall. Lindsay has 4. Wenhausen has 4. Dempsey has 4. And then Jake Phillips with 1 bucket as well. Those all the guys for Mineral Point in the scoring column. On the other side, Cuba City being led offensively by Miles Hinderman. Hinderman's got 10. Also scoring for Cuba City, Gavin Vossen with 4. Hudson Kieler's got 3. Trevor Vanata, that is, with a point, and Braden Joel with 2. Those the scores for Cuba City. We'll take another break. Our halftime show continues after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 6.
Hi, this is Sue Rydell from the Bell Tower Theater inviting you to the new comedy, Above Board. When Nick's food starts disappearing, he installs a camera to catch the culprit and finds that a woman he doesn't know has been secretly living in his cupboard. When the video goes viral, the surprises multiply. This witty, romantic comedy is perfect for Valentine's Day. Don't miss Above Board, February 7th to the 23rd. Tickets are just $26. Call 588-3377 or visit belltowertheater.net.
Get ready to save on supplies for your furry and feathered friends at Fleet Farm's Paws and Claws event. Get a free $15 gift card for every $75 you spend on Purina pet products. And stock up on Pine Tree Farm suet cakes, multiple flavors, 5 for $5. While you're at it, pick up 20 pounds of KT Basic Blend Bird Food, sale priced at $7.99. Stop in and get everything you need for all your pets, all at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm.
In Game 6.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel, about halfway through our halftime break here in this one, and it's a 25-22 lead for the Pointers of Mineral Point over Cuba City. Let's take a look now at the Shoebox scoreboard, presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. After 3 quarters in Illinois boys hoops, it's Galena over Scales Mound. Just came in now. Quick update, so we'll correct that. 5:31 left in the fourth there. 44-37, the lead for Galena over Scales Mounds. In girls action across the area, River Ridge on top of Highland right now, 42-18 with 7:20 to go in that one. And down the home stretch, Belmont on top of Schellsburg, 42-34, about 3:02 to play in that one. Tonight's game brought to you by Grant Regional Health Center's ortho team. Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stolko, PAC, provides exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, better health starts here. Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center in Bloomington, and Hermson's Ace Hardware at the bottom of Main in Platteville. See Hermson's for the perfect paint for your next project. Hermson's Ace Hardware in Bloomington and Platteville. Claire Bank, with their 8 convenient locations, is proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Russell Law Offices, here to assist you as your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin. Russell Law Offices. Bryan's Auto Body and Paint Specialists. The pros at Bryan's get the job done right. For unexpected dings or major repair projects, head to Bryan's Auto Body and Paint, Lancaster. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Ivy's Construction Incorporated is a family-owned and operated ready-mix aggregate and excavation company serving southwest Wisconsin. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Also brought to you tonight by Mound City Bank. Their total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop at a Mound City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Learn more at moundcitybank.com. Community First Bank for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank. cfbank.com, member FDIC. And Eggers Enterprises in Linden, specializing in residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping. They're not done until your expectations are exceeded. Check them out on the web or Facebook and call 608-513-2190 today. Now let's talk keys to the second half. We'll start off with the visiting side, the Mineral Point Pointers. For them, they've got to get their shots to start falling. That's something they really struggled with in the first half. Inside, outside, and all around. The Pointers really couldn't get much to go. Because of that, Cuba City was able to play in transition, maybe giving them a couple more opportunities than the Pointers would like. And besides that, Mineral Point not getting into a rhythm. They're a team that really likes to play off momentum, but they haven't had that opportunity tonight, as they really haven't gotten into a stretch where they've gone down the court and knocked down a couple consecutive shots. On the other side for Cuba City, got to limit turnovers. Early in this one, they turned the ball over quite a bit, and while they were able to limit that as we got later on in the first half, that's something that they really did struggle with right away. So we'll see if they're able to do so, as Mineral Point now back out onto the court. And here comes Cuba City as well, as we've got about 2 minutes until we get under half in our second half of action. We'll take another break. Second half between Mineral Point and Cuba City comes your way next on Super Hits 106 and the Quebe Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 7.
Trade out and trade up with the Gia Milking Performance promotion at Fuller's Milker Center. For a limited time, trade out your old milking units and liners and immediately benefit by trading up to a better milking performance at substantial savings. Choose from the Gia IQ milking unit or the Classic 300E milking unit, both available with a GQ liner package. Plus, save if you need to swap Jetter cups too. Contact Fuller's Milker Center, LLC, your Gia dealer in Lancaster and Richland Center to find out how you can save big trading out and trading up on new Gia milking equipment technology.
Spring will be here before you know it, and it's important to get in front of your customers to let them know the products and services you offer. Hi, this is Terry Kelleher with Queen Bee Radio, inviting you to the annual Home and Outdoor Show Saturday, March 22nd from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Lancaster. Homeowners, businesses, and farmers will be starting to plan their spring and summer projects, so call me at 608-349-2010 to reserve your booth at the Queen Bee Radio Home and Outdoor Show in Lancaster.
In Game 7.
Just about 30 seconds until the second half between Mineral Point and Cuba City on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Mineral Point back into the huddle, and Cuba City about to head that way shortly. It's been a great first half between these two teams if you're a fan of some defense. And a tight basketball game is what we've got on hand. Comes Cuba City into the huddle. Coach Burrison talking over some things last minute. And now Coach Sheevy of the Cubans breaks his huddle. Mineral Point leads 25-22. Ashelman and Hinderman been starring for both sides in 18 more minutes of number 8 versus number 2 in D4 from Cuba City High School. It'll be Mineral Point ball to begin the second half. Jackson Wenhausen to inbound it from the half court. He goes into Ashelman, and we're underway. 18 more minutes of basketball on hand. Here's Ashelman. Switches hands left to right. Now collects, drives, and good on the glass. Drew Ashelman with a quick start in the half, and he knocks it in for 2. 27-22 the lead for Mineral Point, just 15 seconds into this half. Here's Van Natta. Pointers still in the 1-3-1 zone. Van Natta over to Ben Richards. Now inside, Hinderman. Back out to Van Natta. Van Natta to Richard. Richard picked up 2 fouls early in that half. Him and Hinderman both playing with 2. 2 fouls on the other side on Dannenberg and Phillips for the Pointers. Here's Hinderman. That one almost stolen away, but Ashelman throws it off the ceiling, so it'll stay with Cuba City. Mineral Point could have got their hands on that one. It would have been safe, but there's a light still rattling on the ceiling here at the Jerry Pettigrew Gymnasium. Richard inbounds it here to Van Natta. About a minute through this second half here. Hinderman over to Vossen. Vossen almost had it, does have it poked away. He loses that. And it's going to be Mineral Point ball. Coach Sheevy not a fan of that one, arguing that with the official as Mineral Point inbounds it here, and we'll work off that Cuba City turnover. Here's Ashelman working left, now right. Tries to spin inside, and he's blocked. That's Tyson Richard, who swats that one out of bounds. We'll stay with Mineral Point. Nice heads-up play there by Tyson Richard. Ashelman goes into Lindsay. Over to Phillips. Now this one poked out of bounds by Vossen. Quick hands by the Cuba City senior to disrupt the Mineral Point offense again. Ashelman will inbound here for Mineral Point. Goes into Wenhausen. Now Phillips in the near corner over to Wenhausen and back up top to Ashelman. Lindsay, the opposite corner, works to his left. Now to Ashelman. Ashelman, Wenhausen, 3-ball on the way, and good. Jackson Wenhausen fires for 3, and good on his first of tonight's game, and that lead for Mineral Point now 8:30-22, just about 2 minutes through the second half. Here's Van Natta over to Hinderman. Back to Van Natta. Hinderman. Coach Sheevy communicating with his guys as Cuba City looks to break this pointer 1-3-1. Richard swings it over to Van Natta. Now Vossen in the corner. Head fakes up to Hinderman. Now Richard inside. Nice cut. And Vossen finishes inside. Vossen with 6 for Cuba City. Five at 15.5 on the clock here. Second half, 30-24. Mineral Point up 6. Phillips inside, backing down the defender. Rises, too strong. Lindsay with the board, and will get a foul on the defender. We'll see who that foul's on for Cuba City. It's number 3 on Tyson Richard. So that could be big. We'll keep an eye on that. Phillips up top for Mineral Point over to Ashelman. Wenhausen, same spot. Another 3. Cannot get the same result there as he loses that one out of bounds. Last touch by Mineral Point. It'll be Cuban ball. Here's Van Natta taking it up for Cuba City. Over to Hinderman. Hinderman back to Van Natta. Now Van Natta to Vossen. Vossen. Now Richards in the corner. Back to Hinderman up top. Van Natta. To Vossen, and we'll get a foul on Mineral Point. It'll be their first of the half, and it's going to go against Jacob Phillips. Yeah, that's his third. So that'll bring in Potterton and Dempsey for the Pointers. Van Natta, got to get it in for Cuba City. Just gets it in. Vossen goes out. Hinderman backs it out here. Now Vossen, screen comes. Backs it out, 3-ball on the way. Might have been deflected by Ashelman. It was well short. Couldn't tell if he got a hand on the ball or not. Now Lindsay over to Wenhausen. Wenhausen back to Lindsay. Lindsay gathers, tries to step through and can't get it to go. Cuba City, they've got a numbers advantage. Vossen drives, fouls, count it, and one. We'll see. That foul's on as Vossen, good to go on that one. That'll be foul number 2 on Atlee Potterton. An 8-point lead for Mineral Point could be cut to 3 here. Vossen at the free throw line. Shot up, no good, cannot convert the 3-point play. Ashelman headed back the other way, over to Dempsey. Now Lindsay, gonna go to work on his man, spins, shot up, too strong. Rebound, tap to Cuba City's Vossen. Now Richard will get a kickball on Wenhausen to disrupt the play out of bounds. Inbound coming here for Cuba City. 13:50 on the clock, 30-26 Mineral Point. Here's Hinderman. Over to Van Natta. Now Richards. Back to Van Natta. Hinderman. Works to his right. Now over to Richard. Richard, pressure comes. Now Hinderman. Over to Van Natta. Vossen drives. Richard. Richards, that is no good. On the deck, into the hands of Dempsey. Cuba City turns that one over. Ashelman to take it up here for the Pointers, and whistle blows. Timeout on the floor from Coach Burrison. And the Pointers will take 1-2. Back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In game 8.
Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors of Belmont and Prairie du Chien is who to call for top quality CHI overhead doors. Enhance the curb appeal and security of your home by choosing the fine line of CHI overhead doors from Carey's. And when it comes to seamless gutters that keep your home protected from water damage, Carey's has you covered too. Visit Carey'sGuttersandDoors.com today to learn more. They'll service all the rest, and they deal in the best. Get your new CHI overhead doors at Carey's Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors, Belmont and Prairie du Chien.
Turpin Dodge salutes Chris Osterhaus, registered nurse with Hospice of Dubuque. Turpin will honor Chris with a donation to Hospice of Dubuque. Visit TurpinDodge.com to nominate an area nurse. Thank you, Chris. From Turpin Dodge in Dubuque.
Our Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school sports on Queen Bee Radio is presented by Cuba City, Kieler, and Darlington Family Dental, and by Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors. Check out our upcoming schedule at am1590wpvl.com.
In game 8.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Mineral Point to inbound this one. They're up 30-26 over Cuba City with just over 13 to go in the second half here tonight. Ashelman over to Wenhausen on the wing, off the screen, inside. Potterton back out. Dempsey, 3-ball, got it. Great ball movement there by Mineral Point to cash in for 3, just like clockwork. 33-26 Mineral Point, under 13 to play. Here's Richard. Now Richard Vossen, hook shot, no good. Lindsay with the rebound. Now up to Dempsey. Dempsey tries to work it inside, gathers, and scoops it in off the glass. An athletic, confident play by Keaton Dempsey to grow that Pointer lead even more. 35-26. Here's Van Natta, over to Hinderman. Richards, pressure comes back to Hinderman. Now Van Natta, over to Richard. Picks up his dribble, gets it over to Van Natta. Hinderman, over to Van Natta. Van Natta, over to Richard. Hinderman on the outside, under 12 to play. Now Richards. That one tipped and stolen away by Mineral Point. Eli Lindsay in the way of that passing lane. Ashelman slows it down the other way. Leaves for Wenhausen. Wenhausen off a pair of screens and will get an illegal screen on Mineral Point on Atlee Potterton. So that's going to be number 3 on Potterton. There's 3 on both of the Pointer bigs. Lindsay will get a break. Bossert in his place. A couple subs in for Cuba City as well. Joel in, as well as Kieler. Pointer's up 9 here. 11:30 to go. Second half. Kieler. Over to Van Natta. Now Joel. Inside, Tyson Richard gets it to go off the glass. Nice finish by Tyson Richard. That's his first score of the night. Ashelman up for the Pointers. To Wenhausen. Quick 3 by Wenhausen. Short, out of bounds, Cuba City ball. Under 11 to play here, 35-28, the Pointer lead. Tyson Richard kick ball off of Wenhausen. It'll be Cuba City ball. Tyson Richard inbound it with 10:51 to go here. Now Kieler over to Hinderman. Hinderman been having a solid game here tonight. 10 points for Cuba City. Joel inside to Richard. Extra pass. Vossen almost stolen away. Now Hinderman looks to reset for Cuba City, and Mineral Point resets defensively. Hinderman over to Richard. Cross-court pass. Kieler, 3-ball on the way, and good! Hudson Kieler with a triple, up to 6 on the night on that one. 9-point Pointer lead down to 4. Here's Ashelman. Switches hands now. Bossert. Wenhausen. Baseline. Pull-up jumper. Got it. Tough finish there by Jackson Wenhausen, who's up to 9 to respond to that Cuba City run. Now Hinderman. Works off a screen. And back over inside. Joel trying to work on Potterton. And a walk. A travel. Gonna go on Joel as Potterton stands tall on defense. Lindsay and Phillips back in for Mineral Point. They'll give a break to Ashelman and Potterton. Here's Bossert. Works it. Baseline. Now back out to Lindsay. Dempsey with about 9.5 to go. Works back to Lindsay. Now Wenhausen. Looks for Lindsay on the baseline. Wenhausen up top. 3-ball on the way. In and out and back in. Wenhausen with a 3-ball there. Official looks like they're going to give a sideline warning to Mineral Point. Wenhausen up to 12 on the night, and the Pointer lead back to 8. 9:17 to go here. Hinderman Over to Vossen. Vossen, confusion, stolen away by Dempsey into the hands of Bossert. Mineral Point forcing another turnover there. Lindsay works it up for Mineral Point, under 9 to go. Wenhausen fires another three. That one short. Rebound by Cuba City. That one almost stolen away by Bossert, but he steps out. Good hustle play by the Pointer junior. Ashelman will come back into the game, and he'll give Wenhausen a break. Coach Sheevy calls out the play. It'll be Hinderman to inbound. Almost got towards that 5-second there. Joel over to Kieler. Kieler up top to Joel. And we'll get an off-ball foul on Bossert. That's going to be number 2 on Bossert. (40-31), the Mineral Point lead here. 8:36 on the clock here, second half. Hinderman will inbound it. Hinderman looking for a spot to go. Gets it in at the last minute once again to Kieler. Now Richard. And a foul on good on Ashelman. Shot's good, count it, and 1. That's second on Ashelman, and Richard up to 4 points on that one. Wenhausen back into the game for the Pointers. He'll take out Bossert. Eight and a half to play. Richard will get the and 1 free throw. Collects himself here, takes a couple dribbles. Free throw on the way, and good. 5 points tonight for Tyson Richard. The lead is 6 for Mineral Point. Ashelman over to Lindsay. Now Wenhausen to Ashelman. Thought about the three, won't take it. Wenhausen swings over to Lindsay. Lindsay works it inside, out. Wenhausen, he will try the three. No good. Lindsay cannot hang in the balance for the putback. Rebound to Vossen, going the other way. Kieler, a foul. Gonna go on Ashelman, and he's not happy with that one. So that's going to be number 3 on Ashelman, and it's free throws on the way for Kieler. First one up for Kieler, good. Kieler to get one more free throw. Shot up. And good. Kieler 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. And the 9-point Mineral Point lead down to 4. Ashelman to Lindsay. Wenhausen to Ashelman. And a turnover, miscommunication between Wenhausen and Ashelman. We'll see if Cuba City can get anything to go off of that one. Hinderman walking it up here for Cuba City. Now Joel, Richard, Vossen. Vossen drives, and a travel. .740 to go here, 40-36, Mineral Point after that Cuba City turnover. Ashelman moves left, now switching hands. And an offensive foul, that's 4 on Ashelman. Dannenberg will come in here for Ashelman. And there's one of Mineral Point's 3 best scorers off the floor. 7 fouls this half on Mineral Point, just 1 on Cuba City. Kieler up for Cuba City, over to Hinderman. Trying to go to work on Dannenberg. Now Joel, over to Vossen. Richard Back to Joel. Rich inside. Vossen loses it. Out of bounds, staying with Cuba City. A lot of emotions here. 40-36, the Mineral Point lead. 7:06 on the clock. This one's been tight all the way. Hinderman gets this one in. Now Kieler with 7 to play, over to Hinderman. Hinderman off a screen to Joel. Now Kieler. Kieler inside, back out to Hinderman. Pressure there from Dannenberg. He backs it out. Now Kieler. Richard. Joel, 3-ball on the way. No good. Rebound won by Kieler. Baseline, blocked by Lindsay. Lindsay swats the Cuba City. That's Kieler on the inside who got blocked. Hinderman can't find a spot to go with it. Does get it into Vossen. Vossen rises up, and he's swatted by Wenhausen. It's a swat fest for Mineral Point. Now Lindsay up the floor to Dannenberg. Dempsey in the corner. Now Lindsay feels the pressure. Dempsey, 3-ball on the way, short. Rebound won by Cuba City. And we'll get a timeout from Coach Sheevy, and the Cubans will take 1-2. Back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In game 9.
Are high bank fees draining your wallet? It's time for a change.
At People's State Bank, they believe in low fees that put you first.
Tired of being charged for using your debit card, sneaky paper statement fees, or monthly maintenance fees?
With People's State Bank's People's Checking Account, those fees are a thing of the past.
Worried about ATM fees?
At People's State Bank, they reimburse you for up to 3 ATM fees per month. They work hard to keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket.
Make the switch to People's State Bank today. Visit a branch near you or peoplesfinancial.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Sue Rydell from the Bell Tower Theater inviting you to the new comedy, Above Board. When Nick's food starts disappearing, he installs a camera to catch the culprit and finds that a woman he doesn't know has been secretly living in his cupboard. When the video goes viral, the surprises multiply. This witty, romantic comedy is perfect for Valentine's Day. Don't miss Above Board, February 7th through the 23rd. Tickets are just $26. Call 588-3377 or visit belltowertheater.net.
In game 9.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. About 6 minutes left in this one, and it's a tight one. Mineral Point on top of Cuba City in boys hoops, 40-36. Richard into Vossen. Now Hinderman. Richard on the outside, looking to get it inside to Vossen. He does, and Vossen can't get it to go. Rebound by Phillips of Mineral Point. Wenhausen takes it up for the Pointers. And we'll get an off-ball foul on Cuba City. We'll see who that's on. It's going to go on Miles Hinderman, his third. The second foul this half on Cuba City. Inbound there. Gonna go to Phillips. Now Wenhausen. Pointers will run their offense here. Phillips near the free throw line. Looks to Lindsay. Now Dempsey in the corner. Over to Phillips. Wenhausen will take command of the offense. He rises up for the mid-range jumper. No good. Lindsay grabs the miss and puts it in off the glass for 2. Eli Lindsay with just 6 points tonight, but a big one there for the Pointers. Joel with about 5 to play here. Goes to Kieler now, works off a screen. Phillips switches on defensively. He'll try and go to work on Phillips. Doesn't get anywhere, so he goes back out to Richard. Now Kieler outside. Takes the step back 3, and that one no good. Rebound for Wenhausen. Lindsay, Wenhausen, now Dempsey. Works it inside, and a travel on Dempsey. Edgar's Enterprise in Linden, specializing in residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping. They're not done until your expectations are exceeded. Check them out on the web or Facebook and call 608-513-2190 today. 42-36 Mineral Point, 4.5 to play. Inside, Vossen hangs in the balance and gets it to go with Lindsay jumping. Back to a 4-point game as Ashelman's now back in for Mineral Point. Ashelman over to Lindsay. Now Dempsey. Ashelman. Dempsey drives up and good off the glass. A nice finish by Dempsey. He's got 11 for Mineral Point. He's leading the way with Ashelman and Wenhausen. Hinderman over to Joel. Under 4 to play. Joel trying to get it to Vossen. Can't get it. Now he does. It's a tight defense from Lindsay there. Hinderman in the corner. Far side. Back up top to Joel. Now inside. Back out. Vossen 3-ball on the way. No good. Dempsey with the rebound. Community First Bank, for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience yourself the difference at Community First Bank. CFbank.com, member FDIC. Lindsay goes over to Wenhausen. Now Lindsay. Cross court. Dempsey, 3-ball on the way. Too strong. And Phillips, he's fouled. It's on Joel. You can see Joel had a fistful of number 32. Get some subs. Ben Richards and Trevor Van Natta in for Cuba City. They'll take out Joel and Kieler with 3:14 on the clock. Phillips. Now to Lindsay. Ashelman with about 3 minutes to go here. Dempsey in the far corner. Goes to Ashelman. Ashelman playing with 4 fouls. Now to Wenhausen. Dempsey to Wenhausen. Now Dempsey. 2:50 on the clock. Over to Wenhausen. Ashelman to Dempsey. Dempsey drives. Rising up. No good. Rebound by Ben Richards. Here comes Cuba City down the other way. 2:40 on the clock. Hinderman doesn't work off the screen. Gets another one there. Works to his left. And now over to Van Natta. Van Natta up top to Tyson Richard. Now Vossen to Richard. Richards, that is. Van Natta on the outside. Driving on Ashelman. Over to Vossen. 2:14 on the clock. 44-38 Mineral Point. Van Natta spinning. Elevates. In and out, no good. Phillips wraps his arm around the rebound. Wenhausen. Over to Lindsay. He'll take it up for the Pointers. And we'll get a timeout from Coach Burrison. And the Pointers will take 1-2 back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
In Game 10.
We all know how unpredictable the weather in our area can be. Tune in to Super Hits 106 as we'll keep you up to date on all the cancellations and delays affecting the tri-states. Cancellations and delays are presented by Anderson Auto of Platteville. Make sure you don't get stuck out in the cold with a visit to Anderson Auto Repair in Platteville. They'll check your fluids, including oil and antifreeze, plus tires, suspension, and more. And they'll get you in right away and back on the road. Learn more about Anderson Auto Repair on Facebook.
Spring isn't here yet, but it will be soon, and so will many spring projects for home and business owners. Now is the perfect time to get in front of your potential customers at the Queen Bee Radio Home and Outdoor Show, Saturday, March 22nd from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Eckstein Exhibit Building at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Lancaster. Reserve your space now by contacting your Queen Bee Radio sales rep or call Jen Casper for more information at 608-349-2000. The Queen Bee Radio Home and Outdoor Show, Saturday, March 22nd in Lancaster.
In Game 10.
Back out of the timeout, quick checks on the shoebox scoreboard. Argyle Peck beats Albany Monticello in girls hoops 49-47. Big score there. Platteville leads River Valley 46-17 in girls hoops. Galena in boys hoops take down Scales Mound 61-48. Belmont over Schulzberg, 48-37, and River Ridge over Highland, 48-25, all in girls hoops. Back to the action here, 1:48 on the clock and a foul for Cuba City. They've got to start taking those fouls. They've only got 3 in the half. That one's going to be the first on Trevor Van Natta as he fouls Lindsay. Now Lindsay over to Ashelman. Cuba's doubling on ball, and Mineral Point turns it over. Van Natta almost had it taken out of his hands. Goes over to Tyson Richard. Richard looks to go inside, and Ashelman looks like he's going to be done. That's it. That's 5 on Drew Ashelman. Ashelman fouls out with 13. Dannenberg will round this one out with Mineral Point. 1:13 on the clock. Free throws on the way to 1-1 for Ben Richards. Huge free throws. Got to make one to get another. Free throw on the way. Short. Lindsay skies for the rebound. Controlled by Wenhausen. And a foul going to come on Cuba City. You wonder there if Cuba City, as that one's going to be number 4 on Miles Hinderman. A couple kind of confusing decisions there on Cuba City. You wonder if they should have just let that one play out and see if they could have forced Mineral Point into a turnover, or 2, should have had someone other than Hinderman take that foul. Lindsay is fouled, and Hinderman is done. If that's on Miles Hinderman, which it is, that's his 5th, and Cuba City's leading scorer has fouled out with 10 points. A huge mistake by Cuba City there as Hinderman picks up 2 quick fouls, and now Hudson Kieler will take his spot for the rest of the night, one of the best scorers. Officials having a discussion about the clock. And we'll play on. Coach Sheevy thinks the clock ran, not happy about that. Inbound here to Wenhausen. Over to Dannenberg. Now Phillips, back to Dannenberg. Wenhausen holds the ball and gets a nice hug from Tyson Richard. That's his 4th. So the lead for Mineral Point here, 44-36. That'll send Jackson Wenhausen to the line to shoot 1 in the bonus. First one on the way for Wenhausen. It will not go. Sat in the rim for an eternity. Now the other way. 1:08 to go. Crunch time for Cuba City. Down 6. Kieler. Over to Vossen. Vossen to Richards. Richard fires the 3. It's good! Tyson Richard, a huge triple to cut it to a 1-score game, and a timeout on the floor. Mountain City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop at a Mountain City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Learn more at mountaincitybank.com. Let's reset this one. 44-41, the lead for Mineral Point over Cuba City. 55.4 seconds on the clock. Scoring for Mineral Point, Wenhausen with 12, Lindsay with 6, Dempsey with 11, Phillips with 2, and Drew Ashelman. He's got 13, and he has fouled out. On the other side for Cuba City, Tyson Richard with 8, Vossen's got 10, Keeler's got 8, Trevor Van Natta with 1, Braden Joe with 2. It's Miles Hinderman who fouled out for Cuba City with 10. Dannenberg to inbound for Mineral Point. On the floor with Lindsay, Wenhausen, Dempsey, and Phillips. For Cuba City, it's Trevor Van Natta out there with Hudson Kieler, Gavin Vossen, Tyson Richard, and Ben Richards. Inbound to Wenhausen. Wenhausen gets it up for Mineral Point. And there's the foul. It's going to be the second on Trevor Van Natta. 1-1 on the way for Wenhausen. He missed last time on the front end, and Cuba City made him pay. Got to make one to get another. First free throw, no good. Phillips a huge offensive board, and Phillips is fouled. So now Phillips will get free throws. Jacob Phillips has not shot that many free throws this year. And now this game in the hands of number 32. Phillips at the line. Free throw up. No good. Mineral Point cannot make their free throws down the stretch. Will it come back to haunt him? Vossen. Baseline. Fouled. Free throws on the way for Vossen. Mineral Point led by 9. They were up 40-31. Since then, it's been a 10-4 run for Cuba City. Vossen with a chance to add to it. He will get 2 free throws no matter the outcome of the first. First free throw on the way and good. Vossen with 11. Joel out, Ben Richards in. 2-point game. Vossen. Second free throw. Got it. 1-point game. Inbound to Lindsay. Lindsay gets it up and the foul. Foul's going to be number 3 on Van Natta. It'll send the 80% free throw shooter to the line to shoot 1 and the bonus. Once again, got to make 1 to get the second. 3 opportunities of that kind for Mineral Point so far, and they have not gotten that front end to fall yet. That is the 10th foul on Cuba City. My apologies. So Lindsay will get 2 free throws. No good on 1. Pointers 0 for 4 on their last 4 free throws. Lindsay going to get 1 more. That one drops. So it's a 2-point game, 45-43. 30 seconds, clock runs. Joel to Richard. Van Natta drives, gathers, layup, in. 20 seconds, tie game. And a timeout by Coach Burrison, and the Pointers will stay here. 45s on the scoreboard, 17.4. Last time Mineral Point was in this kind of situation, coming out of a timeout with the tie game, we know the history of that with Wenhausen and Darlington. They're 17.4. Mineral Point's got 1 more timeout. Cuba City's got 2, should they elect to take them. Coach Burrison talking it over with his squad. Coach Sheevy's Cubans out of the huddle. 17.4 to play, and we could be in for yet another instant classic between Mineral Point and Cuba City at the Jerry Pettigrew Gymnasium. Pointers take the floor. Tie game. 17.4 on the clock. Lindsay to inbound. Wenhausen, Dempsey, Phillips, and Dannenberg on the floor. And a timeout the other way for Cuba City. Coach Sheevy takes a look at what Coach Burrison's going to show, and he'll take some time to talk it over with his side. Confident he's seen enough film to dissect what Mineral Point is going to do. There's the first whistle, 17.4 on the clock, as we mentioned. For Mineral Point, Wenhausen's been leading their scoring charge for those on the floor. He's got 12. Dempsey has got 11. Lindsay with 7. Phillips with 2. Dannenberg scoreless. Now Wenhausen going to inbound it. It was Lindsay before. Inbound to Lindsay. Will Cuba City be able to complete an upset, or will Mineral Point stand tall and finish strong? 10 seconds. Lindsay on the outside. Phillips sets a screen. Lindsay drives. That one blocked. Dannenberg shoots it. No good. Lindsay for the win. No good. We've got overtime. The Pointers had 3 cracks at it and will play 5 more minutes. What a sequence that was at the end. And we'll get 4 or 5. Get overtime here between these two sides. What a finish. So it's going to be 4 minutes right off the bat for Mineral Point. Lindsay got blocked. Dannenberg thought time was almost out, so he took that quick shot, and had Lindsay got that putback to go, that would have been for the win, but that one out at the last second. So we'll get 4 more minutes here. In for a great one in Cuba City. Mineral Point has not lost to Cuba City since this one here in this gym in 2023. Pointers have won the last 2. The Pointers have won 7 of the last 8. 4 minutes on the clock. Richards and Lindsay to tip. Tip-off won by the Pointers. Lindsay to Phillips. Lindsay will take it up for Mineral Point. Clock starts in overtime. Lindsay over to Dannenberg. Off a screen. Kicks to Lindsay. Lindsay trying to spin it inside. And he's fouled. Free throws on the way for Eli Lindsay. Lindsay couldn't get his free throws, his first free throw that is, to go in regulation. So he will get 2 here. That's foul number 1 on Hudson Kieler. Lindsay good on 1. Every single point in overtime, critical. 1 more on the way for Lindsay. That one drops. Lindsay 2 for 2. At the line, up to 9 tonight, and the Pointers lead by 2. Here's Van Natta. Over to Richard. Now Kieler. Kicks to Vossen. Vossen to Richard, and it's stolen away by the Pointers. Lindsay will walk it up for Mineral Point. 3:20 on the clock in overtime. Lindsay. Now to Wenhausen. He'll fire the corner 3. It's good! Jackson Wenhausen! A huge corner 3 to make the Mineral Point lead 5. Here's Van Natta. Trying to work it inside. Back to Richard. Now Vossen in the far corner. Under 3 to play in OT. Vossen to Richard, to Kieler rather. Kieler. Now Richard tries the 3. No good. Dannenberg with the rebound. Dempsey will slow it down. 2:30 on the clock, 50-45, the Pointer lead. Lindsay works left, sees a lane, elevates. Might have been blocked, no good, but this one out of bounds. It'll stay with Mineral Point. Wenhausen will inbound. Inbound here goes to Dempsey. That one almost stolen away. It was tipped, so Wenhausen retreats into the backcourt to pick that one up. Lindsay, 2:15 on the clock. Swings it over to Dannenberg. And that one poked. Last touch by Lindsay. Mineral Point not ready for that one. 2:07 on the clock, 50-45, Mineral Point in overtime. Here's Van Natta. Over to Richards. Richard to Vossen. Vossen works it inside, back out. Van Natta, 3-ball on the way. And good! It rattles home for Trevor Van Natta. Van Natta up to 6 on the night, and there's the first bucket of the period for Cuba City. 50-48. Now Lindsay, Dempsey, works baseline, falling away. Wenhausen thought about it. He drives and walks. Coach Burrison telling his guys to settle it down. 1:30 on the clock, a 50-48 lead for Mineral Point. Mineral Point and Cuba City. Tight one here down the line. Van Natta tries to work it inside. Back out to Richards. Now Richard, Cruiser. Cruiser wants a screen. We'll swing it to Vossen instead. Vossen, foul comes from Phillips. And he doesn't like it. That one would have been out on Cuba had that foul not taken place. It's going to be number 4 on Jake Phillips. And it's going to be free throws for Gavin Vossen. Vossen, a very good free throw shooter. He's got 11 points tonight. Vossen, free throw number 1. On the way, no good. Vossen's going to get one more. It's a 2-point lead for Mineral Point, 50-48. Second one for Vossen, good. 1 for 2 on that trip to the line, a 1-point game. Lindsay, with 1 minute to play, takes it up for Mineral Point. Lindsay, stolen away. Vossen loses it, Mineral Point ball. And a timeout by Coach Burrison and the Pointers. 58 seconds on the clock in OT. It's a 50-49 lead for Mineral Point. Vossen could have had the heroic play there had he not lost it as he stole it away from Lindsay. Mineral Point will inbound it from under Cuba City's basket here. 58 seconds to play in this overtime period and what, as I mentioned, is going to go down between an instant classic between these two Swall greats. Conference season winding down. Just 3 conference games left for both of these teams, so every game becoming all the more critical. Mineral Point talking this one over. Coach Burrison working with his guys. Coach Sheevy on the other side. Sets the whiteboard down. Both sides hope they've got things drawn up in a way that'll give them the key to the victory. 58 seconds. Here we go. Dempsey to inbound for Mineral Point. Same 5 for both sides. Dempsey into Wenhausen. Now Dempsey. 54 seconds. Takes it up. A 1-point lead for Mineral Point. Dempsey slows things down. Backs out. Now to Lindsay. 47 seconds. Will Cuba foul? Lindsay. A foul going to come here on Van Natta. Free throws on the way for number 10. He will get 2. Lindsay, Mineral Point's best free throw shooter. Can he hit shots when it counts the most? Free throw number 1. Got it. Lindsay up to 10. 2-point game. 40 seconds. Before the free throw, we'll get a sub. Joel in, Richards out for Coach Sheevy's Cubans. One more free throw on the way for Lindsay. Free throw, good. Nothing but net. Lindsay, 2 for 2 and a 3-point lead for the Pointers with 40 seconds to go. Here's Richards. Over to Kieler. Kieler to Joel. Vossen works it inside. And a foul on Lindsay. So free throws coming for Vossen. He was 1 for 2 on his last trip to the line. That's just the first foul on Eli Lindsay. Vossen 1 for 2 on his last trip to the line. Gonna get 2 here. First one, too strong back iron. .2 seconds. This free throw critical for Vossen. Second one in the air. No good. Rebound to Phillips. And a foul on Ben Richards. 25.1 seconds sends Jake Phillips to the free throw line for Mineral Point. Jake Phillips will get 2. 52-25. Just one make would be big for Mineral Point. First one, too strong, no good. One more on the way for Phillips. Missed his first, got his second. That's big for Jake Phillips. Under 25 seconds to go. Cuba's going to need 2 buckets, and Coach Sheevy will take time to talk it over. 53-49 Mineral Point, 21.5 seconds. Now, one thing for Mineral Point, when we look at last year, heading into the postseason, they only played a game that was within 10 points at the finish. They played a lot more of those games this year. Game to Darlington, Dominican, Edgerton. First time against Cuba City, and now this second time. The only time Mineral Point's gone into OT this year. 21.5 on the clock. For Cuba City, hot hand on the floor has been Vossen. It was Hinderman until he picked up 2 quick fouls at the end of regulation. Cuba City out of the timeout, and here comes Mineral Point. Both teams with 10 fouls. Both teams with 1 timeout. 21.5 seconds left in OT. Kieler to inbound, gets it in the back court to Van Natta. Kieler, Vossen, out, Joel, 3-ball on the way, air ball, no good, off of Lindsay. What a play there by Vossen to keep Cuba's head above water for the time being. Under 10 seconds to go. They'll need a minor miracle, but the chance certainly still there. It'll be Trevor Van Natta to inbound. Van Natta into Vossen, and he gets the tough shot to go, 8.1. Best case scenario for Cuba City there. Vossen on the alley-oop inbound layup. And a timeout by Coach Sheevy and Cuba City. Mineral Point leads 53-51. They will inbound the ball from under Cuba City's basket with 8.1 seconds and 1 timeout. As we mentioned, that's probably best case scenario for Cuba City. Smart play on the inbound there from Van Natta to go right to Vossen, the hot hand. Vossen's got 15 for Cuba City, as I mentioned. He's their leading scorer. It's been Wenhausen, Lindsay, and Dempsey for Mineral Point, with Ashelman on the bench. Phillips hit the free throw to give him some cushion, so it's a 2-point game. Dempsey will inbound it. Dannenberg, Phillips, Wenhausen, and Lindsay his options. Dempsey can run the baseline should he need. He will. In, off on Vossen. Dempsey to inbound. And we'll get a foul on Cuba City. That's going to go on Vossen. Vossen did have his arms around Lindsay there, so also pretty good scenario there for Cuba City when you think about it. No time runs off the clock. There was 0.9 that came off on the first inbound. Now Lindsay goes to the line. No time came off on the second one as that foul was before the ball was put in play. 7.2 seconds. Lindsay, game on the line, and a pair of free throws. First one, no good. In and out. Joel and Richard back in for Cuba City. Lindsay will get one more free throw. He's got 11 tonight. Second one in the air, and good. A big free throw for Lindsay. Three-pointer ties it for Cuba City. Inbound to Vossen, 6 seconds. Down to 5. Vossen, Kieler, falling away, no good. Mineral Point wins. 54-51, the Pointers take down the Cubans in overtime, and it was a great effort by Cuba City. They certainly do not have to hang their heads after this one. Ultimately, though, Mineral Point coming away with the victory here. Lot to unpack after this one. 54-51. Mineral Point takes down Cuba City in overtime. We'll take a break. Edward Jones, Reeves Wealth Management postgame show after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Postgame 1 minute.
Hey y'all, I'm Kelly Clarkson. Every American dreams of creating a better life for his or her family, but in some communities, those dreams face difficult challenges. When we come together to help those in need get the same opportunities as everyone else, we truly are making our country a better place to live for all of us. So look for volunteer opportunities in your community to help others achieve the American dream, all right? This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
A fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. At up to 100 times more potent than morphine, the tiniest amount of illegal fentanyl is all it takes to cause an overdose. Fentanyl can be mixed into heroin, cocaine, pressed pills, meth, and other drugs. It could be in your drugs, and you wouldn't be able to see it, taste it, or smell it. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
I left the military with a traumatic brain injury. I came home to fight depression, anxiety, and alcohol.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Adam Greathouse, Army veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
With DAV's help, I built a new life for myself.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is just experiencing life.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hello, my name is Andrea Delzell, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old. If I had one message for the general public, it would be relax. Some folks get really flustered around disabled people, so they just pretend we're not there. I've actually had waiters talk to my companion and completely ignore me. People with disabilities just want the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
This is a message from United Spinal Association. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
It is time for the Edward Jones Reeves Wealth Management post-game show. Edward Jones is a financial services firm serving individuals and business owners. Is your money working as hard as it should be? This is Elena Reeves with Edward Jones. If you want to provide for your children's education, reduce your tax bill, or prepare for a comfortable retirement, we need to talk. Today, more than ever, your financial security deserves the attention of full-time financial advisors. Take advantage of our years of experience. Contact financial advisors Elena or Ben Reeves at 608-348-2441 or stop by our office on Highways 80 and 81 in Platteville next to Sups Nutrition. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Back on Dubuque Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. A great finish it was in another instant classic between Mineral Point and Cuba City. This time it's the Pointers from Mineral Point coming out on top. They have now won 7 of the last 8 over Cuba City, advanced to 2-0 in the season series, and are now 1 win away from guaranteeing at least a share of the 2024-25 SWAL Boys Basketball Championship. Your final score, 54-51. Take a look at some stats for both sides. We'll start with the Mineral Point Pointers. Ashelman fouled out in this one late in the second half. He finished with 13 for Mineral Point. Elsewhere in the scoring column for the Pointers, it was Jackson Wenhausen with 15, Eli Lindsay with a number of free throws down the stretch, who finished with 12 to close things out. Drew Ashelman, as we mentioned, had those 13 points. Keaton Dempsey finishes with 11 big ones for Mineral Point, and Jake Phillips with 3, including one of those big made free throws down the stretch. On the other side for Cuba City, it was Miles Hinderman who fouled out for them. He finishes with 10. Gavin Vossen picked up 15 and was one of the stars here tonight all around offensively. Tyson Richard picked up 8, Trevor Van Natta 6, Ben Richards had 2, and Braden Joel had 2. Those are the scores for this Cuba City team. And by half, I mean kind of the same as last time in terms of the first half look. After one, it was a very tight game with Mineral Point leading at halftime. The difference in this one is Coach Sheevy's team able to play the way that they wanted to play in the second half, limiting turnovers, limiting scoring opportunities for Mineral Point, and taking advantage of scoring when they had the opportunity. They were pretty good in shooting the ball tonight, so ultimately they were able to keep things close. Mineral Point wasn't able to build a more comfortable lead later into this one. So those kind of the keys to this one, and obviously once that got into overtime, Mineral Point got out ahead quick. Cuba City responded, and it was Mineral Point able to close things out. Some surprises, Mineral Point did look kind of flat on offense in this one, especially early. Not the start, not the finish they wanted. And they really struggled shooting free throws at the end, something that they're definitely going to be spending some time doing in practice over the next couple of days. Had they made some of those free throws, they would not have had to send that one into overtime. And even in overtime, they wouldn't have had to be in such a tight, uncomfortable game at the finish. For Cuba City, they played really well, but once they kind of got into having some momentum, and once they got into the swing of things, they would start to speed things up. And when they sped things up, they played with turnover, or they turned the ball over. So the issue for Cuba City is they weren't able to string together long stretches of playing how they wanted to play. Ultimately, at the end, had they done that, who knows how this one would have finished. And speaking of that, our Tricor Turning Point brought to you by Tricor Insurance. Insurance plans built for you, your family, and your business. Contact Tricor Insurance. I've got to go with Miles Hinderman fouling out. That was right down the stretch. Miles Hinderman picked up 2 quick fouls sequentially, And as he fouls out, Cuba City loses at the time their leading scorer, a fantastic defender, someone who could play offense, and the 1-3-1 that Mineral Point was bringing at times in this game. Had they gone back into that at some point, had to bring someone on the bench, and with him out, lost a big threat at the end of this one. So that kind of a big loss for Cuba City, an advantage to Mineral Point, who lost a scorer of their own in Drew Ashelman. Taking a look at some of the fallout from this, Cuba City falls to 14-6 on the season and 7-4 in the SWAL. That bumps them out of that three-way tie and down into fourth for the time being. Now, I do say for the time being because they do have Southwestern coming up, and Darlington has got Southwestern coming up. So a lot of those big games on the way between some of this league's best. Mineral Point is done for the year with Southwestern, Darlington, and Cuba. In a moment, we'll take a look at who those teams have coming up next. So definitely some interesting pieces still in play as we head down the stretch here. Final score, Mineral Point 54, Cuba City 51 in overtime. We'll take one more break here. Back after this on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Postgame 1 minute.
You want to give your baby everything, so start with a safe sleep area. Babies younger than 1 should always be placed to sleep on their backs on a firm and flat surface like a safety-approved crib. And keep blankets, pillows, and other soft or loose items out of the crib when the baby is in it. Learn more about safe sleep for babies at safetoSleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at Parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Over 2.8 million Americans have served in our military since 9/11. Many have returned home with devastating injuries and few resources for them and their families. This is news correspondent Bob Woodruff. I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq in 2006. The military had my back that day, and they have each other's while serving. It's time we had theirs. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative. To learn more, go to gotyoursix.org using the number 6.
Postgame 1 minute.
Back on Super Hits 106 and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. About to wrap things up here from Cuba City. Taking a look at the next 5 games for both of these teams here. We'll start off with Cuba City. They're at Iowa Grant on the 11th. Take on Southwestern in a pretty big one in the SWAL. That's on the 21st, so they get a nice little break. They wrap up their season at taking on Dodgeville here in Cuba City on the 24th and at Boscobel on the 27th. The last game of this campaign in the regular season for Cuba City. And on the other side for Mineral Point, they've got Potosi on Saturday in a huge matchup against one of D5's best. They're taking on Fenimore on the 11th at Marshall on the 15th. They take on Platteville on the 17th, host Riverdale on the 21st, and 1 or 2 more games, and that'll do it for Mineral Point in the regular season as they had a little slower start to the season in terms of games played in December. So still a lot of basketball and a lot of quality basketball to be played on both sides here for the rest of this season. Let's take a look at what's coming up in our Queen Bee Radio family of stations. In girls hoops tomorrow in Illinois, Galena is at River Ridge Scales Mound. Action starts at 6:40. It's underway at 7 right here on Super Hits 106. On Saturday, it's the Southwest Clash between the SWAL and the SWC in wrestling. Coverage starts at 9:25. We'll take a break and resume it at 12:40. That action from Prairie du Chien High School on 97.7 Country, WGLR, and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Later that day, Prairie du Chien is at Platteville on the X Extreme 107.1, and the Badger men's basketball team takes on the Iowa Hawkeyes at 11 on ESPN Radio, AM 1590, WPVL. Monday, Lancaster's at Fenimore on Super Hits 106, and in girls hoops, Belmont is in Mineral Point, both of those on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Tuesday, Highland is at Belmont in girls hoops on Super Hits 106. Darlington at Southwestern, and a big one in boys hoops on 97.7 Country, WGLR, and Argyle Peck, who took down Albany Monticello tonight, is at Barneveld on the X Extreme 107.1. All three of those on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. And next Thursday, Schellsburg at Potosi and boys hoops on the X Extreme 107.1, and Platteville at Lancaster on 97.7 Country, WGLR. Both of those on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Thank you to Carey Lawson and the staff at Cuba City High School for having us tonight. It's always a pleasure. Thank you to our sponsors who make our broadcast possible, and thanks to you for tuning in to tonight's game. The preceding has been a Queen Bee Radio Sports presentation of Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank High School boys basketball, presented by Cuba City Kieler, Darlington, and Family Dental, and Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors on Dubuque Super Hits 106, Sageville, Dubuque. From the Wolf Construction broadcast booth, I'm Matthew Gannon. Mineral Point bests Cuba City 54-51 in an overtime classic. Murph till midnight is next. 3 days of high school hoops comes your way next week on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations. Signing off from the Jerry Pettigrew Gymnasium at Cuba City High School. Have a great rest of your night, folks.
This has been a Queen Bee Radio High School Sports presentation.
Dubuque Super Hits 106 is KIYX Sageville, Dubuque, a Queen Bee radio station. On air at 106.1 and online at superhits106.com.
All the songs I love.